Good afternoon. I'm Jan Roberts-Breslin, Interim Provost and Vice President for Academic Affairs, and it is my pleasure to welcome you to the 2022 School of Communication Speech at Emerson graduate hooding ceremony. We have been waiting and waiting and waiting to be able to celebrate you, our graduates, in person in this official way. And so it is especially wonderful to see you all here today. I want to welcome families and friends of our graduates who are with us today. Your support has been incredibly important to the success of these graduates. We gratefully acknowledge that, and we thank you. Let me also take a moment to recognize our faculty in communication sciences and disorders. Our faculty are experts in their field who care deeply about the success of their students. They helped the members of the class of 2022 reach this milestone by providing an exceptional learning environment, and they have done so with care and compassion. Thank you, faculty. Earning a master's degree is a major accomplishment that requires hard work and sacrifice. Our graduates know this better than anyone. But earning a master's degree during a pandemic marks a whole new level of work and commitment and resilience. Graduates, you did it, and you did it exceptionally well. In earning this degree, you have set a strong foundation for the rest of your life, and we cannot wait to see where it takes you. Congratulations to all of you. We will begin with the invocation. Please stand if you are able.
Speech at Emerson community, our graduates, families, friends, and honored guests. In this moment of invocation, we are called to engage in a practice that is ancient, with deep roots across a great many spiritual traditions, and yet often can feel unfamiliar and unexpected and new. An invocation is, at its core, an invitation into stillness and reverence for that which we consider sacred. And on a day that we have anticipated and waited for so long, one that is perhaps filled with flurry and busyness, exhaustion and excitement, we take this moment of invocation as a very needed pause to invite, to acknowledge, and to thank all that has given us guidance and inspiration on our journeys leading up to today. As is our tradition at Emerson, we begin by first acknowledging the land upon which we stand. Here in Boston, we are on the ancestral lands of the Massachusetts people, whose name was appropriated by the Commonwealth. We pay respect to the Massachusetts elders past and present, and we acknowledge the full truth of violence perpetrated in the name of the country, and we make a commitment to uncovering that truth. So too, in this moment of invocation, we also acknowledge and celebrate the diversity of paths and traditions present in this room today. And we celebrate that we find the sacred in so many different ways. For some, this is in the mystery called God. For others, we find the sacred within the wisdom of our ancestors, the beauty of nature, in sparks of creativity, or in the pursuit of justice. And so, however it is that you find sacredness in your life, I invite you to pause with me now, and in our shared silence, to invite into your mind and into your heart all that you consider sacred. Let us be in silence. Thank you, congratulations, and welcome to each of you to your well-deserved graduate hooding ceremony. You may be seated.
I will now invite Kim McLaren, Interim Dean of Graduate and Professional Studies at Emerson, to deliver our graduate ceremony address. Kim McLaren is a novelist, essayist, and journalist whose work explores systemic issues in experiential terms, anchoring questions of identity, humanity, and meaning in narratives of family, friends, and self. She is the author of 3 critically acclaimed novels, 2 essay collections, and the biblio-memoir, James Baldwin's Another Country, bookmarked. Her work has appeared in the New England Review, the Sewanee Review, the Sun Magazine, the Washington Post, and many other publications. She is a former staff writer for the Associated Press and the New York Times, and appears regularly on Basic Black on WGBH. Please welcome Dean McLaren.
Thank you so much, Jan, or Provost Jan. And welcome to all the graduates. I'm so excited to be here. It is an honor to be tasked with giving these brief remarks, and I specify that word brief because that's what everybody wants to know, how long this is going to take. So start your clocks. It should be about 8 minutes. When I sat down to write these remarks, I began by thinking back over all the graduation, commencement, hooding ceremonies I've attended in my life and heard speeches there. Between friends, family, my own children, myself, and nearly 20 years of teaching at Emerson, I tallied up at least 50 to 60 commencement addresses. Speeches by wildly famous people, names you would recognize, politicians, actors, businessmen. I thought back over all those speeches, and what I realized most accurately was this: I don't remember a word of any of them. So that took the pressure off. Still, I struggled to find something meaningful to say to you. Graham Greene, the writer, said that all writers' brains are like compost bins. In go bits of eggshells and coffee grounds and banana peels, and after a little heat and a little time, out comes something organic, something useful, something which, with luck, can help living things to grow. I realized that the reason I couldn't think of what to write was that my compost bin was empty. It's been depleted by, guess what, the past couple of years. These have been, let's face it, terrible years. An epidemic that took the lives of millions, political rancor, violent conflicts, not just in Ukraine, but in Yemen and Ethiopia and Mexico, what some people call a racial reckoning, but what is really, I fear, just another turn in the wheel of cycle of progress and backlash that is the American story. People are trapped in history, wrote James Baldwin, my hero, and history is trapped in them. In short, these have been hard times, and I cannot, in good conscience, stand here and tell you that the hard times are over. But what I can tell you is what my other hero, the late, great Toni Morrison, said about hard times. Toni Morrison said, hard times are precisely the times when artists go to work. Now, Morrison specified artist because that's what she was. But if you read the rest of the essay, and you should always read the rest of the essay, she actually expands that definition to include all who care about language and communication and imagination, who care about the connection between how we speak and what we speak and who we are. Hard times are when journalists and speech pathologists and scholars and teachers of every kind go to work. That's what the original meaning of a master's degree was, you know. A teacher, a declaration that someone who is admitted to the rank of master or teacher at one university should also be admitted to the rank at other universities. So now that you are a master, you have the right to call yourself an expert in your field. But you also have an obligation to do something with that expertise, something that extends beyond yourself. We are very big on rights in this country, and that's good. But the flip side of rights is what the people in my family who are in the military call a duty. A society built on rights without duty is like a skyscraper without a foundation. It might look very pretty, but it won't stand for long. Now is the time for all of us who know the power of narrative and storytelling and language, whether written, spoken, or signed, to roll up our sleeves and to dig in. Morrison said, "There's no time for despair, no place for self-pity, no need for silence, no room for fear. We speak, we write, we do language. That's how civilizations heal. And we need healing. And I'm sorry, but your generations are gonna have to be the ones to do it. We tried. I know it doesn't look like it, but we did. Sometimes it was 2 steps forward and 3 steps back, but we did our best. And we accomplished some things: apartheid, gay rights, DDT, and seatbelts. Do you know that when I was a kid, nobody wore seatbelts? My mother would pile us kids in the front seat of the bench seat, ask your parents what that is, of the car, and take off down the road without a second thought. If she had to stop short, she would stick out her arm to keep us from flying through the windshield. I remember when seatbelt use became mandatory, became law. People pitched a fit. People were not happy. My Uncle Jesse said a seatbelt ruined the crease of his pants, and nobody and nothing was gonna make him buckle up in the privacy of his own car. But then an accident left another uncle of mine paralyzed, and everybody in the family came around. Today, seatbelt use hovers around 90% in the front seat. Seatbelts save about 15,000 lives a year. Things can change. But although change is inevitable, progress is not. Maybe you've heard the phrase, the arc of the moral universe is long, but it bends towards justice. You heard that phrase? Yes. That's Dr. Martin Luther King's eloquent restatement of a line from 19th century minister and abolitionist Theodore Parker. Reverend Parker's sermon, is a little more ambiguous than King's restatement, which itself, in full context, again, always read the full essay, is a little more ambiguous than that line that we often hear. Parker said, "I do not pretend to understand the moral universe. I cannot calculate the curve and complete the figure by the experience of sight. I can divine it by conscience. And from what I see, I am sure it bends towards justice." Well, I would never stand up here and contradict either the Reverend Parker or, Lord knows, the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King. But I will tell you that from what I see, the arc of the moral universe bends whichever way it gets pulled. The forces bending it towards inequity and injustice and exploitation of the earth, these are strong and powerful forces. The only way to counter them, the only way to bend the arc back the other way, is for each of us to grab hold and pull hard. The good news is this: you've spent the last few years at Speech at Emerson building up your muscles. Your professors gave you some, say, 10-pound free weights, or maybe if you took Ruth Grossman's class, 25 pounds, I don't know. The experiences you shared with faculty and classmates were like resistance bands. Living through a pandemic, seeing both the worst and the best of humankind, that's been one big kettlebell. You've been working out hard these past few years, and now you leave Emerson pumped up and ready to grab hold of that arc and bend it the way it must be bent if we are to survive and thrive as a society, as a nation, as human beings in the full sense of that word. Baldwin said, "There is never a time in the future in which we will work out our salvation. The challenge is in the moment. The time is always now." So let's get to work. Thank you. We have invited 2 graduate students to speak to you today, and it is now my pleasure to introduce the first speaker, LaShawna Bell. LaShawna earned her BA in speech from the University of North Texas. During her studies at Emerson, LaShawna moved in the midst of the program. In doing so, she showed great dedication and determination by uprooting her life during a rigorous graduate program. She has balanced her schoolwork and clinical placements while raising her daughter, Olivia, who is a welcome presence in many office hours and other meetings. LaShawna has consistently modeled strength of character while keeping her good sense of humor. She has always been a thoughtful peer, and it's absolutely clear why she was chosen to represent the 5-term students. Please welcome LaShawna.
So I woke up a little hoarse this morning. Are there any SLPs in the building? Wow. Look at all you beautiful and talented people whom I can actually see without a screen between us. I invite you all to take a minute. Take a minute to marvel at this moment. Marvel at the fact that your friends and family have gathered today in your honor. Marvel at the fact that we survived 854 slides of MBS IMP. Yes, I looked that up. Marvel at the fact that despite a countless number of late nights, having no semblance of a normal life, and for some of us, filling enough buckets of tears to restore a small lake, we made it to a day that once felt so far away. It's hard for just anyone to conceptualize all it took and takes to get through an intense graduate program. Remember the World Brain Atlas and trying to pick apart the nuances of the basal ganglia? Globus pallidus, yeah, you remember. Remember the Mentimeter and typing every meaningful word you could think of when asked, "How are you feeling today?" Well, the word that comes to me when I think about our journey, a word that truly epitomizes how we arrived at this moment, is resilience. Now, Merriam-Webster defines resilience as being capable of withstanding shock without permanent rupture. Not exactly the definition I was going for. The second definition, an ability to recover from or easily adjust to misfortune or change. Okay, maybe, getting closer. Now listen to this third definition of resilience. The capability of a strained body to recover its size and shape after deformation caused by compressive stress. I think that's a perfect description of what we went through. Our student body is made up of a myriad of people, dedicated mothers and fathers who managed award-winning balancing acts, students who continued to work to help pay for school and support themselves, sons and daughters who, in addition to being students, were also selfless caregivers. Resilience. January 20th, 2020, the first confirmed case of COVID-19 in the United States, a date forever etched into our memories, a date that, truthfully, changed the trajectory of life and getting through grad school as we all knew it. The sudden loss of our social connections, many of us forced to sacrifice our quiet space to study to keep our family and ourselves safe, battling illnesses and health concerns, and unfortunately, saying goodbye to those who couldn't. Resilience. And then we have the other stuff, moving, weddings, welcoming new babies, sometimes taking classes in our cars, our parked cars, of course, those unwelcome technical issues, always at the worst times, you remember, forming friendships with perfect strangers across state lines, longing to get together to study or just to vent, but instead using our screens to recreate what a normal happy hour looks like. And still meeting that 24-hour exam deadline after some unusual situation beyond your control arose. That is resilience. We achieved what many times felt like the impossible under the most formidable of circumstances. Some obstacles we faced during grad school felt insurmountable. Yet in spite of it all, here we sit at the onset of being officially recognized and hooded as degreed professionals. We're all made up of a lot of things, but resilience is a quality I would argue brought us all here, brought us together, and will serve us abundantly as speech-language pathologists. Take all of this in, smile bigger today, and be so very proud of everything you sacrificed and endured to get here. I am honored to be speaking today and to be graduating among such an assured, persevering, and determined group of colleagues. Congratulations.
It is now my pleasure to introduce our second student speaker, Danielle Pepe. Danielle earned her BA in Human Development with concentrations in Music and Science and Technology at UC San Diego. During her time with Speech at Emerson, she has served as president of the Bilingual Language and Literacy Investigative and Networking Group, BLING. Her facilitators describe her as a quiet force in the classroom, always ready to take on new challenges with a thoughtful approach. Danielle has deftly balanced coursework, placements, and caring for her new puppy during graduate school. Danielle has been part of the Speech at Emerson community for more than 3 years, and it is my pleasure to welcome her in representing our 9-term students.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you to my peers and to the Emerson faculty for allowing me the opportunity to speak here today. Standing here in front of you all is almost a little too surreal. I could never have imagined when I started the program 3 years ago that I would be here with all of you, on the cusp of starting the next leg of our journey to being speech-language pathologists. It has been a long road with many ups and downs, late-night studies, and comprehensive exam stress. And now that this moment has arrived, I feel overwhelmed with emotion by all we have accomplished. Here today, at the end of Immersion 2, I cannot help but reflect on the journey that began with Immersion 1. Back then, I could not even comprehend the idea of graduation, as it was still too far down the road for me to even acknowledge its very existence. Graduation was an end goal hiding behind the barrier of comprehensive exams. And as the semesters progressed and cohorts who I had shared multiple classes with started to graduate, that end goal appeared to be further and further out of reach. I will admit that I have shed many tears during the course of our studies, both in frustration and exhaustion, as I watched friends graduate without me while I stayed the course of the 9-term track, moving towards an end that I felt would never really become reality. And now today, I'm faced with a very different emotion. Happiness that this part of our journey has come to fruition, and fear of what lies beyond. Through these 3 years, I have grown accustomed to having a plan laid out for me, full of syllabuses and checklists of projects and exams. And today that ends, and I'm about to embark on a professional journey that I am not fully confident I am ready to partake in. And as these emotions come to light today, I look out at all of you, my cohort, my colleagues, and my friends, and I'm reminded that I am not alone. Through all the classes, projects, and exams, I have come to rely on this group of individuals. I could not imagine making it through this program without them. Seeing you all, I am reminded of how much we have all learned and grown as students and professionals to the people we are today in this room, and that fear starts to subside. We are taking the first step into the world of speech-language pathology together, and I can think of no other individuals that I would rather be with at this moment. I have every faith that we will continue on to be such amazing clinicians in our field. I look forward to starting this new chapter of our journey with the lifelong friends I have made through this program. Thank you, Emerson, for bringing us together, and congratulations to the graduating spring class of 2022.
Hello, everyone. It has been a CSD transition to present one student in the graduating class with a Graduate Program Director Award. The Joanne Lasker GPD Award is named for the founding GPD of Speech at Emerson and is given to one graduating Speech at Emerson student who not only demonstrates high academic achievement, but who goes above and beyond the academic requirements, who seeks out knowledge for the sheer joy of learning and constantly strives toward a higher benchmark, the next level of understanding. The award is determined collaboratively by facilitators and conveners who have worked with all of you and who know you best. This year, 2 students rose to the top, each of them receiving so much praise and comments of appreciation from faculty and staff that we simply could not choose one over the other. So, in alphabetical order, here we go. It is my distinct pleasure to present one of this year's Joanne Lasker GPD Awards to Masha Kamenshikov. Sorry for that. You stand here while I say nice things about you. Masha, you are a standout. And not only because you actually dyed your hair Emerson purple for this occasion. I did. You did. Your facilitators know you as an outstanding student who always goes above and beyond. They describe you as extremely hardworking, a high achiever, and a thoughtful, critical thinker. You work hard not just to master the material in order to get the grades, but to genuinely and deeply engage with the work. But more importantly, you are not afraid of being wrong. You are that student every instructor hopes for, who is willing to take a chance, develop an idea, and take that risk of delving out loud into the unknown. Masha, you are all in. Through all the ups and downs and curveballs of the past few years, you have faced adversity with grace and with an open mind, always pushing forward, not just to make it through, but to do it well. And you inspire those around you to do the same. You exemplify academic excellence. You're reflective, thoughtful, deeply committed to the learning process, and unfailingly centered on the humanity of our work. Thank you for bringing your all to everything you do. Thank you for brightening our lives and those of your future clients with your dedication, your sense of humor, and your tenacity in the pursuit of deeper learning and professional growth. We will miss you in our daily lives, but we are proud to count you as one of our alumni, and we look forward to being your partners and your colleagues on the next steps of your professional journey. Congratulations. You can go sit down. The other recipient of the Joanne P. Lasker Award is actually not able to be here today, so I will simply say, congratulations, Rena Wallach, and I will send you my remarks later.
Will all the master's degree candidates please rise? Interim Provost Roberts Brasling, on behalf of the faculty of the School of Communication at Emerson College, I have the honor of presenting to you the candidates for the degree of Master of Science, who have successfully completed all requirements.
Thank you, Dean Rice. Graduates, please come forward to receive your hood.
Interim Provost Roberts Breslin, may I present the Masters of Science degree recipients from the School of Communication, Department of Communication Sciences and Disorders in Communication Disorders. Hodin Abdi. Daniela Cassandra Anchondo. Sean Paul Bass. Lashana Nicole Bell. Brooklyn Benson. Amber Laureen Brown. Tanya Lynn Brown Grieve. Elizabeth DeStefano. Candace K. Dickerson. Hannah Elizabeth Connors. Eliza Ann O'Chrysostomo. Heina Drennan. Elena Lewis Dumas. Ruby Jasmine Flowers. Yesenia Frausto. Katie Robinson Gentile. Chelsea Goodson. Corley Alexandra Groves. Chanel Hinn. Olivia Elizabeth Hinnow. Shiloh Ashlyn Walls Eisenberg. Amanda Rose Yeager. Alana Jesperson. Masha Kamenshikov. Alexandra LaBarbera. Nancy Yoon Lee. Jacqueline Alexandra Matz. Lauren McGrath. Brighton Kiku Miller. Rebecca Mitri. Joanne Sho Young Pike. Leah Catherine Pappenfuss. Danielle Catherine Pappy. Morgan Emily Patterson. Jennifer Peralta. Hijab Saeed. Lauren Nicole Schaefer. Sudabe Shabani. Sydney Lynn Shears. Hillary M. Stevens. Renee Diaz Torres. Lisa Vasta. Cristal Eileen Villatoro. Amanda N. Whalen. Claudiana Campirano Williams.
Graduates, as you go from this place, blessing the world with your work and words and beings, we now take this moment to confer our blessings upon you. May you always trust in your own wisdom, for it is a sacred compass within you. May you always treat yourself with gentleness, for you are worthy of compassion and care. And may you always know that you, your presence and your work and your being has already been a gift to many communities, and we here at Emerson are now honored to count you amongst our alumni. So go forth with our pride in you, with our belief in you, and with our hopes that you will bless others as you have blessed us. Congratulations, and go in peace.
Thank you for joining us today to mark this momentous occasion. Congratulations again to the Emerson College class of 2022 Speech at Emerson graduates. This marks the conclusion of our ceremony. Please allow our graduates to exit first.